I'm really attracted to his humor. I think is what really gets me too. I think he always makes me laugh, and we always have a good time. I know he's very driven, and I think that's something that I think I especially needed in my life was someone who would be not only just keeping up with me, but motivating me to go further. And I think that's what we do for each other. We bounce off each other.
Okay, so what similar interests do you guys have?
Puppers!
Kitters! We have a puppy and a kitty, and we kind of like them. We like movies and TV and doing nothing. Really, we're not one of those, fit couples.
We're just naturally perfect.
Yeah. So we're not what do you want to do today? Let's hike a
I didn't even
mountain.
have to work for it. We have the same general friend group.
Yeah.
I mean, we like the same types of friends.
Yeah.
We don't have, necessarily the same friends, but...
I think that's something different, unique about us, though, is that we don't have many outer friend circles. All of our circles are really connected.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's...
We have
not many
similar
relationships,
friends.
I think, have that, because I think you really... Usually you're dispersed, but...
Depend on each other.
Well, how am I clothes going to get clean?
No, I depend on him to affirm me. I need a lot of affirmation sometimes, and that's just who I am. Whether it's with a problem or something I'm questioning, I sometimes look for him, even just for, how do you feel about me? Something like that, I just need affirmation, so I depend on him a lot. He's more of my get me through everything.
I definitely think it's important to have someone where if you're having a really bad day about something, that you can feel like a no judgment zone type of thing where you can just say exactly what's on your mind and know that it'll be well received.
How do you two deal with conflict and disagreements? And give us some examples.
Well, you're usually one to be more vocal about your opinion.
Yeah, I cry more. So there are many times where if we have a disagreement, you'll know about it. I get really heated really quickly and jump to conclusions. I'm just a hothead in that sense, and I'll get really emotional about it, but then I'm done with it in probably an hour. I just don't really care about it. And then the next day I'll be like, well, whatever, it didn't mean anything. I'm over it. But you dwell on things.
Yep, I won't address things right away. I'll take them in and I'll let them sit there for a while. And then when they do come out, it's like, blah, 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 blah.
And I think that's one of the main things I've learned throughout our relationship is how to handle a conflict with you. And
yeah, because now I feel like I know what to expect from you in that way, and you know.
In the beginning, it was there would be rough moments where I would cry because I'm like, why are you doing this? I just want to love you. Why aren't you just happy? And he'd be like, leave me alone.
But I think it's a good balance now that we know where each other is at in that regard.
So now, I know if he is shutting down, I don't have to try and break down those walls because I know that he'll let me in at some point when he's ready. So it took me learning patience and understanding that not everyone's like me, where I can just be like, let's solve it right now. He needs time, so it's me taking a step back and going, okay, I know I want to solve it, but let's take a break and we'll get back to it a little bit.
So how do you avoid making the other person unhappy, but then how do you make them happy?
Yeah.
I think being supportive no matter what is important. And knowing what buttons not to push, even if I want to.
We're still
But
learning.
knowing that might cause an issue is important to just hold back sometimes.
I think being considerate. I think that's just a big thing too, is knowing, understanding and empathizing how each other feels, even though it might not be what I feel at that moment. It's understanding that he's really unhappy about it. So just basically making sure that you're thinking of the other person, that it's not just you anymore. It's you and someone else. And that's, true with every relationship. And you just need to make sure that you're thinking of all the parties involved.
Okay, so what is it like having the same name as your significant other?
Oh.
Is it weird? What about, in public? Is it
It honestly never phases me. I don't know. Like, I mean, does it phase you? Because I mean,
Mhm.
there are sometimes when people yell Chris and we both go, what? But
Yeah.
Mhm.
really?
But like it's weird because if we're out with friends or something, we'll kind of like know,
We know
who they're talking to.
I think through nonverbals
Yeah.
and through
Yeah.
like just the context of the conversation, like
Uh-huh.
I'm aware. But there are sometimes when I'm like my ears perk up, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think
Right.
also it's kind of like a reminder. Like I always stay in tune because I never know if I'm being talked to or not. So it's almost like
Yeah.
better. But I mean, it's I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you think you notice it.
Mhm.
I call him Chrissy Poo Poo. So
It is kind of weird calling you my name, but I don't
you
think
mean
about
my
that.
name?
Oh, gross. Chrissy bacon.
Chrisers.
Nuggets.
Nuggets. Baby Angel. That's a big
Baby
one.
Angel.
Baby Angel. So we have a pet dog, Pomeranian, who's Sebastian.
Dee.
That's how he thinks he talks. And so
the only
Sebastian
language
is
he
only
understands.
5 months old, and then we have a kitty as well, Charlie.
Kidders.
Charles. And no.
Chuck when we're mad.
Chuck when we're mad.
Charles for birth certificate reasons. And then Charlie for normal.
We should go down to
And
that.
then
We rehearsed
Sebastian
that. We
is baby
rehearsed that.
Sebs.
All right. So, how has your communication and your relationship changed since you moved in together?
Or what was like the thought process
Whoa.
and like the decision to move in together too?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, partly financial. I mean, it didn't make sense for us to live separate because we already spent a lot of time together, and so the thought process was that it helped us grow to learn how each other acts on a daily basis. I think you see them at their low points, you see them at their high points. It's not like you just see them at that one time a day. Like
Mhm.
you see them when they're waking up, and Chris, I know, is not a morning person. Like now I've learned that, and I know that Chris, you don't talk to Chris in the morning when he's getting ready because he's cranky because he has to be up. But then Chris, so I leave Chris alone until Chris comes to me because then he'll be ready, and then he's like, "Hi, Chrissy," and I'm like, "Yep, you're happy now," because he's awake now. But it's like you just learn, I think, the little things.
Who wears the pants in the relationship?
Like, what do you mean, like money or like?
No, like or what different roles do each of you play?
Like you touched on different roles as far as
I
like,
don't like to put gender norms on this.
Oh,
Well, that's what we want to talk about. Is,
Okay.
'cause
Well,
we don't, like, we wanna
Societal
see-
stereotypes, I guess. I would say I'm more of the woman, if we had to classify this by society standards, because I do the cleaning. So all the women are hating right now, but that's what society expects: is that I do the cleaning and I care for the animals. So I'm obviously loving more, and I do all that, and I'm more emotional. But I wouldn't say like I think we're equal on money right now, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who's to say what our careers will take us? But I don't think there's an expectation that he has to provide more than me.
I think we're very even like that.
Yeah.
So like, you know, if you pay for dinner one night, I pay for dinner the next
Mhm.
night. It's not
Yeah.
like we actually keep track,
right.
but
And it's not like, and again, I wouldn't say it's like he expects me to clean or do all those stuff. I do it because that's just what I like to do,
Yeah.
and I just like to be. I like order, and that's just my personality, very type A, and I think it just works out well, because there are times like when Chris is more of a shopper than I am. Like Chris loves to go shopping, and I'm more like, oh, let's just get what we need and go. And that obviously would be the stereotype that I'm a guy and he's a girl when that it stands
Mm-hmm.
in those things. So I think they crisscross all the time.
Yeah. It's very like more equal.
yeah,
Okay.
He loves Gossip Girl way more than I do.
no.
I just started watching it. You're watching it for the second time around.
Yeah, but you like Gilmore Girls.
Have you ever received any comments that suggest that your relationship is less satisfying or less fulfilling compared to, say, a heterosexual relationship?
I haven't personally.
I haven't never received any comments, and I mean,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't see why it would be. I don't think it is. I think, I mean, I get the understanding that we've had the talk about children, and yeah, it sucks that we can't have, a child that's made from half him, half me, which I think that's an unfortunate circumstance. But I mean, I don't think that it makes our relationships any less than another couple. I don't think you need a child to define your relationship either, because there are many heterosexual couples that don't have children.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a relationship just depends on understanding.
What are some examples of how your relationship is satisfying for you as an individual? So for each of you, like, how is it satisfying for you?
Always living, or like always getting to hang out with your best friend, kind of. So it's very ew.
It's satisfying knowing that my imperfections aren't what I think would be the worst to him. Like, it's like to him sometimes they're just whatever, and I'm like, oh, they suck. And so he helps me challenge to be a better person. And I guess what I find satisfying about it is the companionship. I mean, it is my best friend, and it is being there to see him every day, and to know that something great happened at work and I get to share that with him today, or to know that I'm really excited about a new dream that I want to fulfill or something, and I share that with him, and we can plan how we're going to do that together. And it's understanding that he'll be there every step of the way, and knowing that I can rely on him, and that if I'm having a bad day, if I need to vent, he's there. If I'm having a great day, he's there. If I want to cry, he's there. If I want to yell at something, he's there. If I want to throw the cat at him, he's there. And if I just want to just sit and watch the news after work, he's